Welcome back to Are You a Fan, where we explore individual characters from your favorite sci-fi, action, and fantasy genres. A big thank you to NovaCore PC for sponsoring today's episode. Here's your hosts, Dick Rail and Joker.
I got halfway through that, I'm like, I've made a critical error.
Just a bit.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Because we got our Mortal Kombat movie coming out, and they are both majorly featured in the previews. I mean, how could they not?
And they are kind of what you could consider main characters when there really isn't a main character per se.
I mean, you know, them or Raiden, I guess, would be the next main character.
Oof.
So for both these characters, we're only going to be talking about the character's history from Mortal Kombat mythologies. Sub-Zero through MK4 and MK3 is the ultimate MK3.
Since in the original Mortal Kombat 3, Scorpion kind of didn't show up.
And we'll get into why that is a thing here soon. But
we're also cutting out a lot of their history just because there's so much. We do not have the time for that.
No. I mean, we could easily do just a Scorpion's whole history and Sub-Zero part of his history, but Sub-Zero's got a...
His history between original timeline and reboot, that's like a 2.5, 3 hour episode.
Yeah, we ain't got time for that. So, let's get started with, we'll start out with Scorpion and that. We'll start out with real world origins, which there's only going to be a few real differences between him and Sub-Zero in the real world origins. So, Scorpion first appears in the first Mortal Kombat in 1992.
It was created by Ed Boon and John Tobias.
He is one of 3 characters to appear as a playable character in every generation of the game, along with Raiden and Sub-Zero.
In one form or another.
Yep.
Because the only real difference between the two is that Sub-Zero has appeared as 2 different people. As they are 2 brothers.
Yeah. And after one got his shit rocked and murked, his brother decided, you know what? I'm going to pick up his mantle. I'm going to take care of this. Because, you know, what better cliche than a vendetta after your brother gets killed?
I mean, that's kind of the whole cliche between these two, is it's just one vendetta after another.
Yeah, and a lot of lying, too. I feel like just a simple conversation between these two could have, like, cleared up a lot of this gameplay history.
After a certain point, yes.
So Scorpion is technically considered the first ever character of Mortal Kombat. And he's such an iconic character. I mean, shit, he's even on the logo of the gaming company.
I'll say he's the big logo mascot. He's the one guy who makes all the different appearances for sure in all the crossovers. One of the creators had even said that Mortal Kombat wouldn't be the same without Scorpion, because he is such a big character to the game.
I mean, I could easily see that. His iconic line, "Get over here." It's considered one of the greatest, video game lines of all time.
Yeah.
And you tell that, I could tell that to my mother. I could be like, can you name this video game character? Get over here. She'd be like, I don't know, that guy with that knife and rope thing in that fighting video game. She'd at least be, close to on target.
Oh, yeah.
So as far as real-world origins, there's not really much to it. The character, Ed Boon didn't... Oh, wait. Was it Ed Boon who voiced him at one point? Or was that Sub-Zero he was voicing?
I don't actually know.
Oh. But yeah, Ed Boon and John...
They've had so many different voice actors through the games.
Including the fact that in the original games were more like motion capture. They had people actually, doing the fighting moves or whatever and just taking pictures. And we've really progressed. I like how there was like this arc in gaming where, it's like we're going to just take pictures of them, put them in game. And we're going to take pictures of them, put them in game. And it arced up to where, we have no humans at all involved in the video making process. And now we've come full circle to where we put a bunch of little green dots on people's faces. And we're like, okay, we're going to need you to act out this character, finding out that all of this was a sham.
It's amazing how we've kind of gone back to capturing the actual actors.
I mean, kind of a cool full circle.
It really is.
in world. Real name is Hanzo Hisashi. And I apologize if anybody thinks I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah, that should be a disclaimer now. We are probably going to butcher a lot of these terms and names just because it's not our culture. We're not good with it.
Yeah. However, I think I listened to enough of the names being said. I think I got this.
I was worried about the names as like the other things.
I mean, the martial arts styles, I could totally name those. I did martial arts. I'm practically an expert. Yeah, and I fight like one too. I don't have to beat you in a fist fight if I fucking chop you in the throat. Formerly one of the finest warriors of the Japanese Shirai Ryu. Right there off the bat, it's starting to get a little stumbly with the names. Shirai Ryu Ninja Clan. Which you said that, is he Japanese?
I did go back and look. He is the Japanese one.
I was going to say...
Sub-Zero was the Chinese one.
Okay, I was going to say, because Japanese are the ones known for the, ninjas. China was just, Russian style, send the men to slaughter.
Which is funny, because Japan's not actually known for ninjas either. That's an American thing.
Yeah, actually, I did see that. I mean, they had what was called the ninjutsu or whatever in that, but, they weren't the... clad in black.
The concept of the ninja as we know them is an American thing.
Yep.
It's kind of like the Vikings and the horned helmets.
Yep. Yeah. Which actually, ninjas probably dress closer to what Scorpion wears.
Yeah.
I mean, not fully accurate, but, Anyway, is known that his father, a former member of the Shirai Ryu, forbade his son from joining the clan, as he did not wish for his son to live the life of an assassin. However, Hanzo joined in spite of his father's wishes in order to provide his wife and son with a comfortable life. Yeah.
Yes, because joining an assassin clan is the way to provide for a family.
I mean, money-wise it is, but they're going to die.
Exactly. That's why I was like, it may not be the best choice to provide for your family.
I do love, I feel like a conversation with his dad would have been like, dude, I will cover your bills if you just don't join.
See, that probably would have been a better option for him instead of just saying, I forbid you from doing this. Because, kids.
True,
when we hear, I forbid you, it's like, oh, is that a challenge?
And he took it as one. Okay.
So... the first thing that really kind of overlaps between the two big characters is both Scorpion and Sub-Zero were sent to the Order of Light's Shaolin Temple to retrieve the map of elements, being sent by the sorcerer Quan Chi. Quan Chi sent both in attempts to get the two rivals to fight, resulting in Sub-Zero defeating and killing Scorpion.
Yeah, I feel like that was the most roundabout way to go about that, too.
I've actually found out more about that when reading up on... Sub-Zero, between the temples that they got sent to, is because Quan Chi had crossed the earth gods and wasn't allowed in the temple. So he sent two big rival ninja clans.
Which I could see that, but at one point it wasn't even revealed that he kind of also did it so he could, take over Scorpion as a revenant. Actually, didn't he kind of want either one of them? But he's like, probably. Dealer's choice. Whoever dies, I'm taking.
Most likely. I mean, the dude was very big on his plans.
Yeah. Very convoluted. Okay, Scorpion then became a specter residing in Hell, later called the Netherrealm. That just does sound like a fucking fancier video game thing.
Which is funny, because that's also the name of their studio.
Yeah, shit, I forgot about that. Which, I love how they were like, what name from our game universes should we pick to name this? How about the worst one?
Right. Let's just pick the name of Hell. Yeah, let's go with that one. So, after he'd been killed, his family and his clan were slaughtered by Quan Chi as payment to the Lin Kuei.
Which, he killed them, and I think wasn't it all... What?
I'd say there's actually more detail on that in Sub-Zero.
Okay.
So we can touch more on that a little bit later.
We'll come back to why this guy decided to, just create fucking goddamn. 2 years after being killed, he was sent to Earthrealm to participate in Shang Tsung's tournament. He was manipulated by Quan Chi Quinchi. Being told if he was able to defeat Sub-Zero, he would avenge himself and, from what Quinchi told him, his clan. You know, what better way to motivate somebody than vengeance?
I mean, that was kind of the whole thing, especially once Scorpion died. That was all he was about. He was Ghost Rider, basically.
Yeah, Ghost Rider, a Revenant in that, which any D&D people out there, I think you know exactly what those are and how much of a bitch they are to deal with.
Scorpion would kill Sub-Zero in the first Mortal Kombat tournament, and immediately, due to his soul being corrupted, would return immediately back to the Nether Realm.
Wow. You just straight up murked him.
Yeah, it was, and I know there's more detail on his on how he killed him in Sub-Zero's, since that was much more prevalent to their story.
Ah, yes. So we'll get into...
Which is weird that it showed up more under his than the one who actually killed him.
Yeah, you'd think they go into detail about, you know, the guy actually doing the eyes, the thumbs
whatever
in the
he's
eye
doing.
socket. And that, it's like, you know, that's just my train of thought on it.
Would have made sense.
Okay. Scorpion would later hear of a new tournament and send Sub-Zero per tournament and Sub-Zero's participation. Angered and shocked that his murder managed to return to life and followed his rival to Shao Kahn's tournament. That's gotta be a fucking... like, whoa, wait. Didn't I kill that guy?
Right? It was like, he killed me. I killed him. Why is he getting back to life?
Right? Like,
I'm stuck down here in hell. Why is he up there?
That wasn't part of the deal.
During the tournament, Scorpion would witness the new Sub-Zero spare the life of an enemy, thus realizing this was not Bihant. And then he would choose from then on to and made a vow to become the guardian of the new Sub-Zero as an atonement for killing the older brother.
Which I'm kind of assuming that's why we don't fucking see him in the third game. Because he's just kind of in the backgrounds.
Which could make sense.
That's my best assumption, because they kind of, everything I've seen on it, like, they're like, he vowed to protect this one, and then no mention of him for the rest of the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, yeah, that's cool. We couldn't have had some fighting scenes showing him protecting him. You know, I'm just the guy who plays the games.
I mean, it kind of fits, because in the story, I guess, that the new Sub-Zero didn't even know that he had made this pact and vow to just protect him.
True.
So he didn't know what was going on, so he may have just never seen him protecting him.
Ah, true. Just kind of sucks. I feel like that could have been a cool Easter egg, like, battles.
Oh, definitely.
Quan Chi later tricked Scorpion into thinking this new Sub-Zero killed his wife and child. He then swore to slay the new Sub-Zero, much like his older brother. Which, I mean, I get he's one of the top assassins in the world, but this guy's like dumb as like a bag of bricks.
At a certain point, when all he's really based upon is vengeance, it's really easy to steer vengeance around.
I'm just saying, we've all seen what Quan Chi looks like. I'm saying, even in the light of day, if that guy came to me and was like, hey, you want to make a deal? No, don't fucking no. I'm good. I'm going to walk the other way, and I'm going to keep looking back to make sure you don't follow me.
Yeah, but as a clan of assassins, you don't usually work with the best people.
That's a valid point. But why do you believe him? Shouldn't you know, like, all my clientele are dirtbags? This guy.
Again, at this point, now that he's a revenant and pretty much fueled on his anger and his rage, anger is a very easy thing to steer in one way. So it's very easy to just kind of make him blind to reason.
I mean, I guess I should know that, considering I did Tai Chi. That was the whole point of, like, Tai Chi's fighting style, is to redirect the person's anger.
Exactly.
So I guess I shouldn't be too surprised, considering I based one of my whole fighting styles off the concept.
And Scorpion would end up later defeating his rival. However, before Sub-Zero was killed, he revealed that he was not responsible for the family's death, and the killer was still out there. This ended up leading Quan Chi to reveal that he tricked Scorpion, trying to get him to break his vow of protection over the younger brother.
Which, once again, Quan Chi.
He just has a thing for making these two fight. He just wants to watch them.
Well, not even make them fight. Like, in that moment, it's kind of like when we were talking about fucking Red Skull merging a Falcon with Falcon's mind. What benefit was it to you to be like, it was me all along, standing right in front of you with that knife, that kunai that you can throw straight into my chest?
I think part of it was he realized Scorpion wasn't going to end up killing him. So his plan wasn't working as he wanted it to. So he just kind of went off script. And it didn't work out for him.
Jesus Christ, did he go off script with that one. After revealing this, Quan Chi attempts to transport Scorpion back to the Nether Realms, but thinking quickly, Scorpion charged the sorcerer, sending both of them to the Nether Realm. Shit like that. I'm just like, why don't you, it's that whole, like, bad guy on a Saturday morning.
I have a feeling, after hearing that part, that he might have just thought that maybe the shock would have stopped Scorpion long enough for him to get transported to where he wouldn't be able to do anything.
I mean, I get that logic, but this is also a man that has been fueled and has gotten very good at being fueled by anger. You think he can't redirect that in a split second?
Well, clearly he didn't.
He did not. Also, there's also a guy that can literally throw a kunai and pull you with him. There was no...
Oh yeah, there was no getting away from this.
There was no victory in this. Like if I was an evil villain, I read that, I'd be like, fucking idiot. It's like, and this is the one the Elder God fucking put in charge of getting shit done? Okay.
So, and then with the reboots when they made the reboots, they kind of restarted the first 3 titles of the series. Scorpion would actually regain his humanity, being resurrected. In the Mortal Kombat X Combat series, it's revealed that his powers in Hellfire become dependent upon his own emotional pain, to where he must relive his greatest shames to even use them. But by doing so, he becomes Wraith-like and becomes surrounded by the Hellfire, and increases his powers to points he can even exceed deities like Raiden in combat.
Shit, bro.
So he uses his anger so much now that he bests certain gods in combat now.
Dude, that's an impressive feat.
It really is, for not being a Wraith anymore, not being a Revenant anymore, not being dead.
Just being able to call on that power and that, like, just be like, dude, can you imagine how powerful we'd be if we could call back on all our past mistakes? God.
Exactly.
I would own this country. Hey, remember that time you said you too after the person brought your food? Ah!
Oh, if only it worked that way.
Right? I mean, I've stayed up at night thinking about those moments. Okay, so yeah, let's I guess get into his power sets. We got Hellfire Manipulation, the Netherrealm's variant of fire. I mean, that is probably his most damaging effect, and it is arguably his most deadly.
Honestly, it's kind of his main one, right behind his kunai chain combo.
The kunai chain combo. Top of the fact that he's able to teleport. Scorpion is immune to Hellfire, which, I mean, his skull's covered in it.
It's one of those you would hope he was, but it's one of those that you also have to feel that has to be stated.
I mean, we've seen plenty of those bad guys where, like,
they lose to their own power.
Yeah, they use the power, and it's like, it's burning my flesh. Then stop.
3 movies of Star Wars where Palpatine just ends up getting burned by his own lightning.
Every fucking time.
Cool thing, though, about Scorpion's transportation is he can do it just by thinking.
Ooh.
He doesn't have to do any motions or conjure any or say any words or anything. He just thinks about it and he's there.
That's arguably, I would say, the most useful teleportation ability I've ever heard.
Right.
Because, yeah, most characters, they have to do, some hand sign or, like, say some phrase or, it's a whole hassle. But just being able to think, I'd end up in so many walls.
Right.
Okay, Scorpion as a specter is immortal as his soul is bound by revenge. Which I feel like that's kind of a self-explanatory. Like, he's been beaten in his Revenant form, but, like, you can only put him down for so long.
Exactly. He'll eventually come back.
Yeah, like you can destroy the body, but the body's going to reform itself.
Because actually that happened. He was, I don't remember who it was, but he got pushed into a pool of acid to where his body was completely dissolved.
Except for the bones, because that's what shows people that the acid didn't destroy them.
Right. Game logic.
Or Rick and Morty. That's all I was thinking. It was like, look, he's dead. Look at all those bones. He's got to be dead. Guys, we're fighting a skeleton. Maybe we should, grind the bones? Nah, we're good. Okay. Has necromancy and summoning abilities after being betrayed by the Elder Gods when they resurrected his clan as undead. His undead hellspawns are capable of using hellfire as he is. Which, that was a power I did see, and I was like, wow. I don't think they emphasize that ability enough.
They really don't, and it really, except for in the actual story of it, and I feel like that was probably more in the comics, they don't really even touch that his clan got resurrected.
Yeah, they don't, but I mean, considering how they got resurrected, does that really count? I mean, except for necromancers, who's like, I brought him back. That's not at all what I was paying you for.
Pretty much.
That's why you don't trust gods, people. Don't make deals. His summoning allows him to call upon demonic minions that can self-destruct and floating skull creatures that breathe and spew explosive projectiles. This guy is basically like a walking Doom simulator.
He really is.
Fuck, dude. That's badass. Who do you think would win between him and the Doom guy?
Probably Doom guy.
I mean, Doom guy has literally killed god beings.
Exactly. That's that game's whole premise is he's going into hell killing demons. Scorpion's done.
Yeah, it'd be a boss. It'd be
an epic fight.
Okay. Yeah, we already covered teleportation.
I'm leaving that to you because there's a lot of shit that I don't know how to pronounce.
He has multiple weapons throughout the various games, such as an axe, longsword, ninja sword, which I think is a little bit of offensive because I think it's technically called a... fuck.
Hey, blame this one on the people who wrote it in their article.
Oh, no, I saw the same article, and that's kind of why I tried to copy and paste in that, but I'm like, ninja sword. What? It'd basically be like a shortened katana. And
that's pretty much exactly what it is.
They have an actual name. If you're wondering what it is, go look up what the blue band guy from Ninja Turtles uses. They're the same blades. And that. Okay. Ninja sword. Mugai Ryu?
No clue.
I have no idea.
I'm leaving that one to you.
No idea what the Mugai Ryu. Tonto and his kunai are the only weapons to appear in all games he's in. He has 3 different fighting styles: Aikido, Paigwa, and Muay Thai.
Yep, see, that's why I left that one to you, because I would never have been able to mention any of that.
I mean,
or pronounce it.
Did martial arts for like 10 years, so.
Well, you can do them, but pronouncing is a whole different thing.
Very true. Very true. But so that's kind of what we got for his weapons and stuff. Yeah. And his powers. I mean, he's a skilled martial artist with hellfire to back him. Like, I mean, I wouldn't want him coming after me is all I'm saying.
Oh, heck no.
Don't wake up and see a skull floating over your bed.
Just don't mess with his clan. You're good. Don't wear blue.
Yeah, I think I can avoid both of those topics. I don't have the money to fly to Japan. And I don't think I own anything blue. So, I think I'm pretty safe there. Now, ready to do it all over again? Round 2. Sub-Zero first appeared in the older brother, Baihan, appeared in Mortal Kombat 1 in 1992 alongside, Scorpion. It's basically the same. And that. The second Sub-Zero, Kuai Lang, appeared in Mortal Kombat 2 in 1993. This would become the Sub-Zero that we know, love, and sometimes try to kill when we're on the couch with our friends. Other than that, same history as Scorpion, so we're not really going to get bogged down with those details. I mean, fun fact is they did change to create Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and like two other guys.
It was originally Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Reptile.
There we go.
There was the original 3 color swapped ninjas.
Yep, and that's literally all they were. Is save on money. They just swapped out the colors for the characters and altered their fighting styles. I mean, arguably, that is the cheapest thing they could do at the time.
And with the way memory was in the games back then, that's about all they could do.
Yeah. Let's get into this real world facts and go down this ice slide. Real names. Baihan was the first. His younger brother, Kuai Lang, would become the primary Sub-Zero after Bihan's death. Sorry for anybody out there. We did give a disclaimer. We're trying.
That's all we can do right now.
Okay. Both brothers descended from cryomancers, an exiled race descended from the gods. Oh, I actually didn't know that part. I didn't know they were like god descendants. I just thought.
Yep. That's how they have the ability to do all the ice powers and all that kind of cool stuff. It comes from that race.
I assumed it was a race, but I didn't know like the connection of the gods.
That one I found out doing the research, actually. And I don't remember what the race was technically called. It was something with an E.
Yeah.
Originally, they were both born in the United States to a cryomancer father and a human mother. They were taken back to China by the father when they came of age against the mother's wishes. The big difference in that and the reboot is the reboot had them being stolen by the Lin Kuei when they were young boys and then trained as assassins from there. So not a huge difference. Not positive if they changed the origin of where they were born, but it never really said.
I mean, it's just they did make it clear in the reboot that the Lin Kuei just kind of stole children, so I just...
It's like Jedi.
Yeah, they were basically... I want to say the harsher version of the Jedi, but the Jedi weren't exactly known for their peaceful ways when it came down to it. So, they would both be trained as assassins and given Bihans would take the codename Sub-Zero, and the younger brother took the name Tundra. Which, from what I remember doing the research in that, Bihan was more like ruthless in his ways.
Yeah,
like he got the job done. He was basically, I guess, apologies for the pun, the Winter Soldier, if you will.
Yeah, being the more ruthless, being the better of the two with a cold, ruthless demeanor. That's why he was chosen to be Sub-Zero over the younger brother.
Yeah, and Tundra, he got his name, which I guess doesn't sound as cool in that, but if anybody's ever driven near a Tundra, the thing looks very unforgiving.
Oh, yeah.
So, maybe clean it up on your naming things.
Like Scorpion, Sub-Zero would be given the task of retrieving the map of elements inside the Oralite Shaolin Temple by Quan Chi. There he would encounter Scorpion and kill him after a violent battle. So again, a few of these early on, they kind of cross because they have that first meeting where it all really kind of goes down.
Which is kind of why we decided to do the episode the way we did, is we felt as though we literally couldn't talk about one without basically revealing the other one's history too, because they were so intertwined with each other.
And especially in those first couple games, that was such a big part of their story.
Yeah, so that's why you're getting this special episode, folks. Quan Chi would disguise himself as Sub-Zero and kill Scorpion's clan as payment for stealing the map from the first temple, which they never say whether the clan of Sub-Zero wanted that other clan just straight up massacred. I would love to believe, because of the way games go, that he did that. He's like, so I brought you the head of this enemy clan. They're like, why?
From what I understand, reading through context, that kind of was the plan for it, is they did want them killed. That's why he did that as the payment.
Okay, that makes sense.
Again, that's also just reading through context. They never officially said anything like that.
I would just love that, though. It's like, I brought you the heads of your enemy clan. It's like, dude, they were our competitors. Like, we were able to raise prices because of them. What are you doing?
Right. So the map of elements led to the legendary Temple of Elements. which had an amulet sealed away, which was said to contain a great mystic power. Ooh, always that magical crap.
Right.
Upon Sub-Zero retrieving the medallion, Quan Chi would reveal his evil plot to restore the elder god Shinnok and steal it from him. But yeah, I guess the amulet belonged to Shinnok, and it was able to completely rebuild his body.
Yeah, I did see some things about that. He's like a fallen ancient god, and that, there's always some contingency plan to bring those guys back. Raiden the Thunder God and Earth Realm Protector would task Sub-Zero with retrieving the amulet from the Nether Realm. Since he was, the one who retrieved it from Quan Chi in the first place.
It was kind of his payment of, hey, you screwed up, gave him this amulet that could revive a god that's going to cause problems. You get to go fix it.
I mean, arguably, what I was more shocked about that whole scene, that whole transaction, was there was no fight between them, because for some reason Raiden was the most wise character in any video game or movie ever to be created. He's just like, hey, buddy, I know what happened. Instead, just pop it up and bam!
Right.
Which, I just gotta say, for an old game, that's probably the most logical thing I've ever seen in a video game.
Which is surprising, just knowing games.
Right? Okay, upon returning Sub-Zero to his clan headquarters, he would find the Shang Tsung personally invited him to the first Mortal Kombat tournament.
He would then use that opportunity to assassinate Shang Tsung, as his clan had been approached previously with a contract for his head. They had been approached for this contract, and he's like, since I'm going to be there anyways.
2 birds, 1 stone. I mean,
Exactly.
shit, why not? Get this contract taken care of, win a tournament, become immortal for 50 years.
Did not work in his plan, in his favor, though.
Oh no! Upon Liu Kang winning the tournament, the island would crumble into the ocean. Scorpion would face Sub-Zero, and fueled by vengeance, would burn Sub-Zero to death.
Yeah, it actually got a little more. I guess it was pretty bad.
Which, if I remember correctly, in the reboot, the Raiden actually approached Scorpion, was like, "Please don't kill him. We need Earthrealm to win this thing."
He tried to.
Did
not work.
Oh no!
He
Scorpion
still killed
straight
him.
up murked him. He
He was like, nope, this guy's still dying.
just popped right back up, holding the guy's skull and fucking spine. So, I mean, in both, he kills him, but at least in one, Raiden tried to stop the killing.
Yeah, he tried to help everything.
And he just not batting great.
So, kind of a fun fact in here already. After Baihan's death, his soul descended into the Netherrealm. He becomes a demonic form of his former self, being given the name Noob Saibot, which his name consists of the surnames of the Mortal Kombat creators, Ed Boon and John Tobias, spelled backwards.
Which I saw that too. I thought that was a pretty cool concept.
I saw that. I was like, nope, we got to throw this in, because also, one, shows a really fun fact of the naming, and it kind of shows what happened to the older brother after he died.
Which, he's actually got a whole story too in that.
Oh, yeah, and he ends up doing a lot with Sub-Zero in other versions and later in the story that we don't cover.
Yeah, and we're not gonna. If you want to know about Noob, well, that'll have to be later.
That's definitely a different story. Pretty much any of these characters, if you want to know about them, that's a whole nother episode.
Yep. Kuai Lang would then lose his name of Tundra and pick up his brother's name of Sub-Zero to honor him. Which I did read in that it did take him like a few years to fully pick up the mantle, because he had to take on his brother's training regiment.
Yep.
I think it was like 5 years of training before he was even on par with the first one, which, yeah, I get you want to avenge him, but 5 years of training, it's like, I'm going to go against that guy. You mean the guy that killed the dude that took you 5 years to even get close to?
Yep. And then after all that, when he took up the mantle of Sub-Zero, he would then join Shao Kahn's next tournament, along with a fellow clan member and close friend, Smoke.
Smoke.
Because, yeah, that one, and the only reason we're really mentioning him is because it kind of comes into play with some of his stuff a little later on.
Okay, fair enough. Lang Okay, Lang discovered the vendetta Scorpion had for his older brother, but Scorpion would witness Lang show mercy to his opponents, which in turn saved his life from the Spectre, though he would never find out why his life was spared by Scorpion. I'm assuming it was spared just because, like...
Well, that was, as we talked about, under Scorpion's side, that's when he took up... When he realized it wasn't the same person, he wasn't responsible, he decided to do the atonement for killing the older brother to protect him.
Which does kind of make sense, because ultimately, like, yeah, this guy's got no beef with you, really.
Yep, and as far as he knew, only the older brother did it. Nobody else was responsible.
Exactly. So why would you just go and kill this younger brother, you know?
Yep.
The young, restless little bastards. Okay.
And upon failing to kill Shang Tsung during the second tournament, Sub-Zero and Smoke returned empty-handed, to which they discovered their clan was starting to turn their warriors into cyborg assassins.
Which, if I remember correctly, in the reboot, that doesn't start to happen until later on. And that, in the original, the whole machine thing happened sooner than the reboot.
Yeah. Because I think this is still in the second or third game that this started, technically.
Yep. So, yeah, it's gets a little muddled. Which, you know, okay, yeah. He would refuse this change and run from the clan and be saved by Raiden, and agreed to join his rebellion against the new threat. In the new timeline, he was captured and his clan was changed. Because in the new timeline, Scorpion didn't really give a shit that this was a different Sub-Zero. He was going to kill them all the same, which I think we did mention.
No, that was just us talking off camera.
Oh. But yeah, he was gonna face him, and so Sub-Zero beat Scorpion. Was about to deal the final blow. Then a bunch of robots fucking teleported out of nowhere, grabbed him, and
honestly, that was actually during the fight when he almost killed Sub-Zero, and then Quan Chi piped up that he was the one that killed the family, not Sub-Zero. So
okay.
That's where the timeline got changed.
God, I hate timeline changes.
Yeah.
Especially when they're still considered technically part of canon. Especially in this world, because that timeline change wouldn't have happened if Raiden wasn't trying to save the original timeline.
Yeah, but they just need to stop messing with that.
I mean, I'm hoping they do. Okay.
So Sub-Zero would then fight alongside other Earthrealm warriors against Shao Kahn and his armies when they invaded Earthrealm. They would eventually be victorious, and Earth would get returned back to normal. They didn't really talk a lot about that fight or anything.
Yeah,
I know it got kind of convoluted with some of the cyborg ninjas and Smoke, and
that fight in and of itself is convoluted. It's considered a big thing in the canon, like the fight for Earthrealm.
Yep.
And that, but as far as like all the random shit, like I feel as though part of the whole excuse, especially in the reboot for that whole war, was to introduce a bunch of new characters.
And I think that's exactly all that was.
Because that's where we get a bunch of like kind of badass, cool new characters.
I mean, that's where we got pretty much every cyborg character in the game.
Yep.
They all showed up during this fight.
There we go. Sub-Zero would again be called by Raiden to assist in defeating Sub-Zero would again be called by Raiden to assist in the defense of Earth. When Chinook threatened Earthrealm, Sub-Zero would don his brother's uniform and bring vital information to help Raiden stop Chinook.
Because, I think this was at the fourth game, Chinook finds a way to come out of the Nether Realm, threaten Earth again. The stereotypical game of bad always finds a way to threaten Earth.
Yeah,
And, at this point in the series, Sub-Zero seems to be Raiden's go-to guy.
I mean, he's kind of a badass person. And
which is funny when you think about all the games and movies they always show Liu Kang. I was like, you think about Liu Kang is always typically that poster boy we see as the good guy.
Yes, the hero.
But it's funny because it always seems to be Sub-Zero that gets the main calls from Raiden first.
And I think if I'm guessing that, I almost feel like Raiden's using Raiden looks at Sub-Zero, looks at Liu Kang, is like, Liu Kang is pure of heart. I need him to win this. However, you are a badass who can murder things. So
You go do this.
you go do this. We're going to defend our little precious Liu Kang here and keep him pure.
That's kind of exactly what that is. And we already kind of talked about how Quan Chi tricked Scorpion into thinking Sub-Zero's involvement of the clan and the deaths of his family and clan,
Yep.
which we all know is now fake. So we're not even going to touch that part of his story because it's pretty much exactly the same.
New timeline, Sub-Zero would defeat Scorpion,
And even eventually try to make amends with him,
which he did successfully do so.
which is cool to think about. That they kind of
I hear in
the
like
truce.
I hear in the newest game you get to see them like buddy up and like go on a mission together.
Oh, I guess I gotta find the newest game. 'Cause I want to see this.
Yeah, like two old men just being like, "Fucking, let's do this, bro." Buddy cop movies, love them. Okay, let's go into their powers. Being descended from the outworld race known as cryomancers, Kuai Lang has the innate ability to control ice in many forms.
And yeah, I found a list of his actual powers, and it is such a large list.
It's ice. Man's an ice bender.
Like he throws ice spears, he can make ice walls, make copies of himself as ice,
He can slide around on ice like
make
a
the
fucking
ground
skateboard.
just make the ground ice in front of his opponent. Like there's just so much, and it's all essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Man controls ice. He's an ice bender. He's able to resist the powers of other cryomancers.
Which they show when him and Frost would fight. He was able to resist her abilities.
Damn.
Because I guess she tried to freeze his arms, and it did nothing.
Okay. Was able to surpass his brother's freezing ability and can reach up to, holy shit, negative 500 Fahrenheit.
Yup.
Okay. Fighting style. Shotokan and the dragon. Which it's not really specific as to what martial art the dragon comes from. I would assume Taekwondo or karate, but there's a few martial arts that use the concept of the dragon as a fighting style.
Okay.
So possibly even Shotokan.
Maybe, yeah.
So wasn't really specific on that.
So, unlike Scorpion, though, Sub-Zero's never actually had a weapon besides, his ice that would appear alongside him in all of his appearances. Except his Quarry Blade would be the closest because it's been in the most games. He also had an ice scepter, ice daggers, hammer, and an ice poleaxe. Of course, all the ice stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when you can kind of create weapons out of ice, do you really need said weapons on you?
Not really.
I mean, shit.
Then in Mortal Kombat 11, which takes place in the reboot universe, he has cybernetic weapons to go along, where he was captured and turned into a cyborg.
Oh yeah, shit! I remember that. He had like little rockets and stuff.
Yo.
I remember playing that. Which the whole, fun little fact in that I found out, I guess, in the comics, whole reason even after he dies and gets turned into a specter, he comes back with a human body is Quan
Chi?
Quan Chi. Yeah.
The one that's kind of been the
Yeah.
overall dictator of their lives.
Quan Chi is actually turns him back into a human from a machine.
Yeah, and even looking at that whole thing was so convoluted too.
Because they're like, he didn't do this out of the kindness of his heart. But it really still, once again, doesn't really... Like, I guess it could have made him a more superior fighter because he doesn't have to rely on the tech to not, break down on him.
Well, that, and you're more flexible.
True.
But there was also a lot more to that story that I started to read, and I just said, nope. We're not getting into that because we're not putting it in here.
I know.
It was a good, 3 or 4 paragraphs worth of story.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That one.
And yeah, no, I wasn't touching that.
Yeah. I think these two, Scorpion and Sub-Zero have had quite the history together,
And you could almost arguably say they are one of, if not the greatest rivalry in fighting games.
Oh, I would easily say that. So much emotion behind the rivalry. A lot of fighting games, it's just there's no real emotion. There's no real it's even when it's you killed my father. It's yeah, but I don't know who you are. Do you have any idea how little that narrows it down?
Right.
Meanwhile, in here, it's you killed my family. Ooh, Yeah, that was me.
I might have actually done that one.
Like, ooh, I do know you. I recognize your face too. That's not boding well for me.
And then they just managed to continue it game after game after game. And actually kept it interesting too. It wasn't just the same old story over and over again.
Yeah, no, they actually, they had both of them lose and win fights together in that. One would get the upper hand, the other one would get the upper hand.
Granted, majority of the time, Scorpion had the upper hand and would win the fights.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
there was only a couple, like a very small handful that Sub-Zero was able to win.
True. But I mean, because I think even one of Scorpion's powers is the longer he spends in the Nether Realms, the more powerful he becomes.
Exactly.
So, this guy takes a week vacation in the Nether Realms, comes out of the portal and is like, you!
Right.
Oh, crap.
See, that's the way to do it right there.
Right, basically, he pulls a pseudo Superman in the sun.
Yeah.
But no, great. Which I did also, speaking of Superman, those video games are not considered part of the canon at all. The Marvel or the Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Yeah, nope. There was another one that he appeared in that obviously aren't canon either.
Yeah, so most of his appearances in other games that aren't Mortal Kombat based, those aren't considered part of the timeline. So, no real reason for us to go into that.
Because, that's a whole nother story that we really don't need to touch.
No,
Or do I want to?
Nah, I sure as hell don't want to. These ones were tough enough, and we had to cut things out.
Cut so much out.
Especially with Sub-Zero. His history is just so convoluted and so long that...
I mean, we cut out a good 5 or 6 games of history.
Yep. But we kept the important stuff.
It's all the original, or all the stuff that really led them into what they are and who they are as characters and people.
Yeah. We tried to, clean up some of the time loop stuff and that to try to keep it more streamlined. We did tell you a few things that happened differently in different timelines, but for the most part, this is their story and they're intertwined. They're one and the same.
Then, growing up as a kid with friends, I almost never played the storyline. So I didn't realize how much story there truly was to this game.
Oh,
it blows my mind.
So much story.
I was reading it. I'm like, I didn't realize they put so much behind these. I've never played the story. I've only played with friends.
Which, when you think about the fact that this started out as an arcade game,
that's impressive.
That's a lot of story for just a finish him.
Which, from what I understand, a lot of it actually got kind of rewritten into story after, I think it was 2 or 3 started, once they got away from the arcade.
That makes sense.
Because they didn't have a lot of room on the memory of arcades and stuff to be able to really write a story.
That makes sense. But, Scorpion, Sub-Zero. What do you think? You a fan?
Oh, heck yeah. I love these characters.
Dude, right?
And I know Sub-Zero's always been one of my favorites to play as, too, just because I've always loved the ice stuff.
Scorpion's always been my favorite character to play as. That teleportation thing will really piss off an opponent.
Apparently, we need to find some games and download them.
I'd be down. Now, you play Sub-Zero, I'll do Scorpion?
I'm down.
Hell yeah. So, peace out. For anyone still listening, if you got something out of this, enjoyed the episode, or even liked the character beforehand, from a movie, from a comic, from a cartoon, hell, even that t-shirt you just thought looked cool, guess what? You're a fan too. If you want to jump on this train, why not subscribe, share with a friend. Dick Rail out. Keep riding them reds.